Alright, so, hey guys, sorry it's so dark. It's really late here and the light bulb in my room kind of burned out, so I'm gonna have to replace that in the morning. But I wanted to film this video anyway because I'm falling a bit behind in my Berlin trip review because I'd like to upload them in chronological order. And we're approaching the 26th, which I promised you guys a video on that day, and that's going to be my Fulda video, which in order to make the deadline for that and keep with my chronological uploading, I need to upload this one today. But this video is going to be about my what happened the day after I got back from Vienna, and then two incidents that happened in the week after. So the day after we got back from Vienna was the 13th of July. And we went, we got up in the morning, like, everyone got up early for breakfast, like usual, but my friend Braun and I decided to go that day to Potsdam for the first time, which was amazing. For those of you who really know me, and who've seen my other videos will know, Potsdam holds great significance for me because that's where Frederick the Great built his palace, Sanssouci. That's where he spent the majority of his time when he wasn't on war campaigns. And it's a really nice town. I quite enjoyed it there. It was really pretty. But we got up early to get breakfast, and then after breakfast we immediately grabbed our things and went to Potsdam, which was about an hour by train. We took I think it was the S2. It was either the S1 or the S2 from Pankow station to the Potsdam Hauptbahnhof. I was so nervous, and I was still a bit sick so I was a bit shaky and a bit weak, but I was so excited I didn't even care. I was like, we're going. I don't care if I'm sick, we're going. But I was shaky and nervous and excited, and it was great. I spent most of the journey with my headphones in, listening to what I had of the soundtrack for Friedrich Mythos and Tragedy, but that probably didn't help my nervousness and my excitement. But we got to Potsdam Hauptbahnhof, got off the train, found out which bus we needed to take, and God, I can't remember off the top of my head what bus it was we had to take on the bus, and I was still listening to my music. I only had 6 songs at the time, so it was a very short playlist, but I was listening to it on repeat just because I couldn't think of anything better for me to listen to. But the bus ride was about 10 minutes long, and when we finally got there and got off the bus stop, the second I stepped off the bus, tears just started pouring down my face. I don't even know. I was just so happy to finally be there. It's somewhere I'd wanted to go for, at that point, like 4.5 years. I had wanted to go there, but hadn't been able to yet. And it was impressive. I filmed some video that day. We spent quite a while at Sanssouci, actually. But yeah, we explored the gardens. We split up at one point, and we explored the gardens. I don't know where he went. I think he went all the way down through the gardens to the Neue Palais. But I stuck right at Sanssouci just because there was so much for me personally that I felt I needed to do. So I walked down all the steps and around the fountain and just explored the whole area there, and then went up the side up towards actually where Frederick the Great is buried, and visited his grave, which that was for me probably the most intense moment of the whole trip, because I mean, he was the reason that I got really interested in German history, and the reason why I went on that trip. And to, after 4.5 years, finally get to pay my respects to this great man who I have spent so much time learning about and will continue to spend so much time learning about. It was really an intense moment, and while I was still by the grave, some British tourists came by, and this is actually a funny little story. Some British tourists came by, and one of them asked what these other stones next to the grave were, because there were other gravestones there, and it was his dog's. And I told them that, and they're like, wait here one moment. They went and got some of their friends who were with them and brought them over, and they all started asking me questions, and I was just like, can I not? I mean, I like occasionally getting to show off my knowledge, but this wasn't the place or the time, really. He found me and rescued me from being stuck there for hours. But so he finally rescued me from this group of people, and we went to the Sanssouci gift shop where, let's see, did I buy anything that day? Yeah, I did. So while I was there, when we went to the gift shop, I bought this CD. It's an ensemble playing the flute concertos that he composed, or at least some of them. Because I've got this because I've heard some of them before. The Flute Concert 3 in C major and Flute Concert 1 in G major. I've heard those two before. I really like them. They're some of my favorite music to work to when I'm writing or drawing or just working on anything in general. I like to listen to those, so I thought, and I found them on CD finally, so I was like, why not? And then I bought a book, which is in my school bag in my car. I think it's still in my car. But those are the ones, shockingly, are the only two things I bought there that day. But we got done in the gift shop, and then as we were leaving, I got a picture with this guy who's was standing outside, who was, this happened, you'll see this a lot at historical sites in, I'm not sure if it's all across Europe or just in Germany. I know we saw some of these in Vienna, like some of these kind of people in Vienna, but I don't know if that's just a Germany, Austria thing, or if it's all around Europe. Reenactors. And this guy, and he was dressed as Fritz, and he was playing the flute, and so I got a picture with him, but yeah, he was really cool. I ended up getting a picture with him every time I went to Sanssouci that trip. So then we got on the bus and went back to Potsdam Hauptbahnhof because we wanted to get back relatively early that day, because that night was the final it was the World Cup final, and we wanted to get back to watch that. So we boarded the bus and went back to the Hauptbahnhof, and then took the train back to Pankow, and then went and got changed again into our soccer jerseys, and I have a Germany scarf from the World Cup, and changed into all that stuff. I went to Mario's to watch the game. We would have gone down to the fan mile, but the fan mile was already full, so we decided to watch the game at Mario's. And that was such a tense game. And when Germany won the World Cup, when Germany won that game and won the World Cup, oh my god, the second the game ended, just fireworks went off everywhere. No one got any sleep that night. No one on the trip got any sleep that night, except me. I kind of got maybe 2 hours of sleep, but But yeah, like no one got any sleep because there were just fireworks and parties and sirens and everything going off all night long, and just no one slept. And all of our professors gave our program director money in the morning to go out while they were teaching class to buy newspapers, like as souvenirs, because they knew they were going to just go like that, because it was a huge deal for Germany to win this World Cup for a number of reasons. But it was awesome, and that was probably one of the coolest things to happen while I was there. But so yeah, that was the first time I went to Potsdam and what happened that day. And then that Thursday, my Prussian history class went on a field trip to Sanssouci, and we did the interior tour of the palace, which I didn't do the first time I was there because I knew I was going to do it later in the week anyway, and it was more fun doing it in a group, like in a giant group, and I wanted to wait to do the interior tour when Jessica was on the trip because she's also a fan of Fritz. So that was a lot of fun. They had a lot of really cool things inside. They had a lot of the really famous portraits there, which were really cool to see. They had his flute, one of his flutes. There's the Voltaire room, which is one of the most obnoxious things I've ever seen in my life. It's like really, it's kind of an intense yellow color. Like the walls are yellow with like birds and monkeys and fruit and things all over the walls. And the curtains are yellow, the upholstery's yellow, the floors are brown and yellow like checkerboard tiles, and it's an interesting room. If you ever go, that room is quite it's the last room you go through, and it's kind of it's a good way to end. It's a good way to end your tour. But they had one artifact there that they actually have the actual chair that he died in still, and like, to me it's impressive that it's survived this long. It survived 2 world wars, it survived the Soviets, it survived it survived Napoleon, it survived World War I, World War II, the Soviets, it survived just this whole time, and it's one of those things that I didn't expect to see, and it was kind of an emotional thing. And I'm really surprised that I didn't cry. I didn't cry when I visited his grave either, which is really strange because I normally get really emotional over those kind of things. But we finished the interior tour and again went through the gift shop, and that day I bought this little crown pin. Let me get that. Yeah, I got this little crown pin that I wear with almost everything that I have, because I really like it, and it's really cute, and it goes with almost everything. So I bought that, and I think that was all no, I got that, and then I got these little magnets of, that one of Fritz, that one of Fritz, and then, whoops, it goes this way, and then the flute concert. This one's my favorite though, like that first one's my favorite. But I got those and the pin, and that was it for that day. I had a remarkable amount of self-control there. Contrary to what I said in my the video I filmed at Charlottenburg, where I was like, I'll just probably impulsively buy everything in the gift shop. No, I was actually really I had a lot of self-control that day. And the first time I went, and the third time I went, because I went a grand total of 3 times. But, so as we were leaving, I got a picture with that guy again, and this time he was really he broke character for, I don't know what reason, but he got like really excited when I went to go get a picture with him, and he was just like, he was playing the flute like usual. He was in a slightly different spot, but he was playing the flute like usual, and I went to go get my picture with him, and he suddenly broke character and got really excited and pointed at the wall behind him where like his stuff was sitting, and he had a wooden flute back there. And he kept pointing back with it, and in German saying, with flute, like really happy, like, with flute, like, he wanted to know if I wanted to play with him. Like, I don't know how, like, why he thought I played flute. Side note, I do actually play flute. I haven't played in a few years, but I do play flute. But he got really excited for some odd reason, I don't know why, but this caught me so off guard because he broke character, which was really unusual, and also my professor and my friends were off to the side laughing just because I looked so startled at this, and I was just like, no. And he looked kind of disappointed, but we got, I got my picture with him again, and then we, rather than boarding the bus and going back, we actually walked back to the Hauptbahnhof, after sitting by this pretty fountain and writing our informal responses that I think I talked about in a previous video. But yeah, then we went back to Berlin, and I don't remember what else we did that day. So about a week after that was the 25th, and it was the day before I went to Fulda, and Dr. Lipp, our history professor, wanted to take the professors who hadn't yet been, and then whatever students wanted to go, to Potsdam. So Dr. Lipp went, his mother, who had joined up with all of us for a visit, went, Professor Robinson went, even though I'm pretty sure he had already been, and then, gosh, who else went? Thankfully I still have my whole thing from the trip and everything. It was Dr. Bailey and her husband went. So, yeah, those 5 went, and then, let's see, who else went? I went, a girl named Victoria went, one of the Marks went, I think, let's see, did Braun go? I don't think Braun went. No, Braun didn't go. I think Colin went, but I think that was about it. So we all went, and I knew this was going to be my last time at Sanssouci, and I was kind of sad, but kind of still really excited. Just every time going there, I was just so excited to go. But we went, and we got off the bus, and we went to grab lunch across the street. I got currywurst again because that was something I ended up really liking while I was over there. And then we went to Sanssouci, and the professors all went on the interior tour, which most of us, like students who had gone on that day, had already been on the interior tour, and those of us who didn't just didn't want to go. So we explored the gardens, and I went with Victoria, and we found the Temple of Friendship. We also found something else that I can't find on any map, but I can't remember exactly what it was. We found we went to the Roman baths. Don't turn off. And then it started to rain at one point while we were going through the gardens, so we took shelter in the Church of Peace, which was really cool. And while I was there, I visited the Kaiser Friedrich Mausoleum to pay my respects to the Soldier King, because that's where Fritz's father is buried. So even though I'm not overly fond of him, I figured I may as well pay my respects to him, because I don't like him, but I respect him. But yeah, then the rain let up, and we joined up with the rest of the group back at Sanssouci, and we went to the gift shop for the last time, and I bought the other 2 CDs in the series of this, so I got the one with the symphonies and then the sonatas, which I love all of them. They're just beautiful. I bought all of those, and I think that was it for what I bought there, and I'm surprised that's all I bought there. But yeah, so they all bought things, and then I got the other 2 CDs, and then as we were leaving for the last time, I was really sad, but I got my picture with that guy again. And after the picture was taken, as I was about to walk away, he turned to me, gave me a slight bow, and said in English, "Thank you, my lady." What? What is my life? Why do these weird things happen to me? But he gave me just a little bow and said, "Thank you, my lady." And I said, I couldn't even really speak. So I just gave him a smile, and then took my camera back from Victoria, who took the picture. And then we walked over to the professors, and we went to this little cafe for cake, because Robinson has one heck of a sweet tooth, and so we went to go get cake. I got this nice raspberry cake and a hot chocolate, because it was kind of rainy that day and a little bit chilly because of the rain and the wind. But it was all delicious, and then we went through a walk through the rest of like downtown Potsdam, and I got this little Sanssouci coin that's kind of my lucky charm now. Whenever I'm doing like a theater show, I always keep it in my pocket. And we visited this old church, and we eventually just made our way back to the Hauptbahnhof and left for the last time, and I felt really, really sad that day, but I was also really excited because I knew what was coming the next day. The most intense day of my life. But yeah, so that was my 3 trips to Potsdam, and I really am looking forward to going back at some point, because there's still things I wanted to do that I didn't get to do. Like go to Cecilienhof and go all the way down to the Neue Palais. I didn't get to do that, and maybe figure out what that thing I found was. And hopefully next time I go, that reenactor guy is still there, because he was really cool and really nice. But yeah, that was Potsdam, and I love it there. It was really pretty and really nice, and that's really all I have to say about that. But so that's all for now. I will be back probably tomorrow or the day after, depending on when I upload this. But I'll be back on the 26th to upload give you guys my video talking about when I went to Fulda and everything that happened that day, from getting up ridiculously early to my awkward encounter with an actor. So I will see you then. Bye guys.